Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel where skincare is all about progression over perfection because perfection doesn't exist. And welcome back to Instagram versus reality. Today I want to focus on brands, and we're talking about brands who are okay with using filters to falsely advertise the effects of their products. So I personally do these videos because I like to merge my life as an influencer with my degree in editorial and advertising photography, taking a keen interest in digital retouching and photo manipulation. And I like to use these skills to look at influencers' videos, brands' advertising, and see what tricks they're doing to lie to us about the results of their products. I want to make it very clear before we go into this, I do not care if somebody online is using a filter, doing their makeup, whatever. Have fun with filters, do what you need to do. What I care about is when advertising is linked to it. If you're an influencer who has taken money to show the effects of a product, whether it be skincare or makeup or anything transformative, and you use a filter to lie, willingly knowing you're lying about the effects of the product, if you're an influencer or a brand who does that, that's when it bothers me. Do whatever you want with filters. If you feel like they enhance your content, do what you need to do. I would personally say, make it clear you're using filters. Just say, I've used a skin blurring filter on this one, or I've used a slight filter on this. That's what I personally do. You don't have to do what you want. If you're a brand, you fucking should. You should declare everything you do. In fact, let's look at the law before we get into this. In the UK, the ASA, the Advertising Standards Association, say that filters should not be used if they exaggerate the effect of a cosmetic or skincare product being sold on any kind of social media platform. In Norway, influencers by law have to declare whether or not their figure or features, be that skin, waistline, whatever, has been edited in any way, and if they have used a filter through a government-approved label. And failure to do this can range from anything from a fine to actual prison sentencing, which I think is a little bit like, is a bit extreme. I don't know. I think if repeat offenders do it, then yeah, lock them up for a bit. As for the US, I couldn't find any particular guidelines or rules other than declaring that your product's advertised. And I will say that any brand that has to use any kind of filter to pretend that their product is good or exaggerate the results of their filter, I instantly don't trust, and it instantly makes me think that their product is shit. Let's get into it. I'm going to start with this one because I was tagged non-stop in this. This is a video from NYX. They're using the hashtag NYX Cosmetics Partner, which is very kind of like, in my opinion, to say you're partnering with a brand is very kind of like confusing. Just say it's an ad, just say it's an advert. We need a universal language. Ad is fine. But I do feel like a partnership is something different to a simple paid advert. A partnership to me would be like a collaboration where you launched a product together. You know what I mean? Or you've worked for months and months together. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think the word partnership is a little bit misleading, or a little bit kind of like they're kind of like trying to fly under the radar that it's a paid sponsorship? Let me know. This video is from NYX.
Been hearing great things about the NYX Cosmetics Bare With Me Concealer Serum. So let's cover up these dark circles. This concealer gave me instant coverage, plus it's hydrating. I can't believe I waited so long to try this concealer.
Honestly, I don't hate this. I think the fact that there's a filter right at the end completely ruins the video. I mean, she looks great. Her makeup is great. As a content creator, she makes amazing content with a lot of skin texture, a lot of real life makeup application. Usually always use a filter at the end. What I do like about this video is you can see a real life before and after. You can actually see how the product does work under her eyes. Of course, we've got lighting reflecting under the eyes, helping a little bit here with the ring light. One trick to see how people are using lighting is to look into their eyes, right? So look here. You can see that I got two lights up here, then I got two lights either side. So what this is doing is balancing out so there's no shadows on my light, so you can clearly see my skin texture and everything like that. When we look at her eyes, she's just using a single ring light by the looks of it, and it looks like when she's doing her before and after, the ring light is either up or at an angle, and it's hitting under her eyes, making her under eyes look brighter. I don't think this is a conscious decision. I think she just looked at light and thought, oh, that shows it well, you know? I don't think she's trying to mislead. I do think NYX have a responsibility to go to creator and be like, please can you remove that blurred filter at the end? Because that would have been such a perfect example of just a good ad, a good demonstration of the product and showing what it truly does. It would have been good to see her whole finished look with that product without the filter. It's a shame really, that one. Here's a really good example. I can't remember her name. I'll put it in here and put her at handle that someone actually tagged me and my brother in, of amazing makeup application where you can see all the texture in the skin and see how makeup sits on real skin in real life. Real skin doesn't mean a lot. You know, if you see her out on the streets, that's how her skin would look. What I would say when it comes to creating this kind of content is not everyone has access to a 4K camera that can show up so much detail. A lot of these content creators film on their phones because it's easy to do. Maybe they don't quite yet have the funds to film on a camera. And unfortunately, phone cameras, especially when you're editing and then uploading onto certain social media platforms, can compress the quality of your video. But as you can see, this lady, I believe she's filming on her phone, just a guess. It looks like a ring light with a phone holder in the middle. I was absolutely fine with that first kind of before and after. The next brand is Charlotte Tilbury. I've always been like a little bit dubious of Charlotte Tilbury's adverts. I know that she uses a lot of heavy filters on herself, lots of lighting tricks, lots of slimming, in my opinion personally, which is like, she's not demonstrating on herself, whatever. When she's not doing that, it's fine. Don't care, whatever. But when you're showing your new makeup product, it's kind of annoying that you have a blurring filter on. So this could be a mix of two things, and I kind of want to give them the benefit of doubt a little bit. What kind of gives this away as a possible filter is the little peach fuzz on the lady's jawline. You can see that the camera is having a hard time focusing and kind of like blending all that into her skin. So you have this very obvious cutoff of peach fuzz and then bare skin where the filter's applied. When you have lots of different textures on the skin and use some skin blurring filters, they tend to jump. They don't really know where to focus, right? So they just kind of see texture, blur. So you see a lot of jumping on the skin. You know, your skin starts to move in ways that it would never do in real life. What this could be, again, if this was filmed on a phone, it could just be the camera struggling to focus on somewhere. And when you apply products that are supposed to cover up pores and imperfections, what the camera will start to do, so see all my pores here. If I was filming on a phone, what would happen if I then covered that up with a primer or pore covering products is that it will have a hard time focusing, finding anything to focus on. So it will kind of automatically have this like softer blurred effect, and it'll start to focus on things like my eyebrows and my eyes. The depth of field might get a little bit muddled up. The camera will be like, what am I focusing on? And that could create that constant jumping, blurring effect. However, I don't know, I find it hard to believe that Charlotte Tilbury are filming on a mobile phone. I don't know, they could be. I do like right at the beginning that we see a few imperfections. Just everyday daily skin. Do you know what I mean? She's got a few spots on her chin, whatever, normal stuff, right? But another giveaway again that filters have been used is a blurry hairline. There's just like a softer blur. Do you know what I mean? So in my opinion personally, because of the peach fuzz, that definite line, the blurry hairline, the jumping skin, in my opinion, there's a filter that's been used here, which is a shame because I've heard really good things about this product. Again, the NYX product and this product, there's no real need to use these filters. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so this video, this is just ridiculous. This is in line with that green clay mask stick where like the poppy seeds appear and everyone's like, oh, it's those giant blackheads that you couldn't see on your skin, and then they wipe it away and the skin's blurred. This is just ridiculous. It doesn't even look real. That's insane. It's like uncanny valley, isn't it? It's the weirdest thing to see. It's that overly photoshopped kind of like Instagram versus reality waistline in real life, but on this advert. Honestly, this is just a funny one. I don't know what brand this is. This is probably some kind of like drop shipping AliExpress kind of brand. I don't know. But you can see the background moving around them. The way the skin moves is not normal. It's all kind of like sucking in. There's no suction tool here. It's not compressing. It's being sucked and drawn in. There's no need to even carry on talking about this one because it is just ridiculous. I got two pictures that I want to show you now, and these are before and afters of brands. One is real, one is fake. So here's one from Pharmacy, and then here's one from Foreo. One shows the effects of Pharmacy's latest launch, which I believe is like a night mask, and the other one shows the effects of Foreo's Iris under eye massager tool. Not a skincare product, just a massager. Really quickly, what one do you think is real and what one do you think is fake? One completely shows wrinkles gone. Well, lessened and one shows dark circles pretty much well improved. So let's look at the pharmacy one first of all. To look at, I would think this initially is fake because you don't expect those kind of results, right, from a skincare product. But if we look at a few things here, one thing you'll notice is a 4-week before and after. So realistically, using a hydrating product with the ingredients like hyaluronic acid in and all that kind of stuff, along with other things, can help plump out fine lines. It's not like mythical, it's science, it happens. That's why hyaluronic acid is kind of like all the rage, because it can help do this with consistent use. It can help those fine lines. I believe once you stop using it though, that's kind of it. Like it's not a permanent thing. It's not a permanent change. You can also notice in the top picture, she has like a blemish on the tip of her nose, and in the bottom, just behind the pharmacy product, you can see that that's cleared up. So even her, it's been a fair amount of time, you can see, because her spot has had time to heal. We can also see that it's from, whilst a similar angle, it's slightly different, very, very slightly different. And as far as I looked in, there's no repeating of pores, there's no repetition of blemishes that would give away things like a cloning stamp or patch tools, all that kind of stuff. All those tools that are used to hide blemishes and kind of like clone skin from a clear area of face to a blemish or a fine line area of face and kind of disguise all that. To me, this looks perfectly reasonable. I don't think a 4-week result like this is unheard of or unbelievable, to be honest with you. Foreo, the absolute nerve to do this from a brand who can afford to do a really good kind of like test subject kind of photo shoot. They can deny this all they want, but let's look at the giveaways. So when we look at it, it is pretty much the exact same angle. I believe they may have got the model to kind of move from this to this very slightly. If you look at the left hand eye, left to us, you can see there's 2 hairs that overlink like this that are in exactly the same position, just moved a little bit. So unless this person has had the same hair for about a month in the exact same position, then this is the same day. We can also see eyebrow hairs in the exact same place, which is different to the pharmacy picture where the eyebrows look completely different. One looks brushed up, one looks brushed down. The hair's in a different place. Even her eyelashes are different. In the Foreo one, the eyelashes are in exactly the same position. Not to the camera, but relative to their face. We also have tiny giveaways, like bits of dead skin. You see like white little dots that are bits of dead skin, again in the exact same place around the eye area. If this person was using a tool around the eye area, those dead bits of skin would have gone. What's annoying and really easy to notice here is they've done possibly the most amateur retouching job. For some reason, the skin's improved, even though this is like an eye product, but they've just gone in with a dodge tool, which is a lightening tool, lightened the actual iris and the eye whites themselves for some reason. I don't know why. So use the dodge tool along with the model, kind of like, I mentioned that they might move their face a little bit. It looks like they've gone from a down position to an up position. And if you look in the eyes, you can see a huge like octabox, like soft box, and then there's lighting underneath. In uni, we used to call this news broadcaster lighting because it gives you a really flat, even light. It's meant to be quite flattering, and by tilting the head a little bit as well, they've lightened under the eyes, as well as using the dodge tool to help lighten that area. I would say that they've even just gone in with a skin color, like a standard light skin color, and airbrush that on underneath. And what they've done to the left hand eye as well is use that dodge tool and added light where the light wouldn't naturally hit like that on this person's face. It's insanely fake. I don't understand why they've done this. And you know what? It's annoying because their products actually work really well. I'm a daily user of one of their Luna kind of like silicone brushes. The iris is nice. It makes for a nice eye massage. I never had results like this because they're not real, but they're not a brand who have to lie about the results of their products. It's really weird, Foreo. I don't know why you've done that. It's very strange. What I thought we'd do now is just look at some general kind of like influencer liars. And I wanted to take a look at some guys for a minute because, as we know, when it comes to photoshopping, filters and retouching, they're mainly aimed at women because they're created because of the standards that pretty much every woman, if you're online, whether you're an influencer or not, is expected to live up to, Perfect body, whatever that is at the time, perfect skin, whatever that means at the time. And this sounds really bad, but women are good. Like, women are good at retouching their pictures. Because they have to be, because they're used to having to do it, because the people that feel they have to and feel that societal pressure are good at doing it because it's all they've ever had to do. When we look at men, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And I think whilst I'm laughing at these pictures here, we'll put them next to me here, the proportions are all out of like, they don't make sense. These are usually men adding muscles onto themselves, making their muscles bigger. But what I think this shows is that men never have to do this. They're shit at it because they aren't expected to have to do this, because they don't have the same pressure on them to look a certain way. Of course, body image is a huge thing for everyone. I know myself, we look at other men and we are like, you know, that's, to me, that's an unrealistic beauty standard. I can never look like that. I can never look like that. And it hits everyone. But what I think this does show is that when it comes to being an influencer or being online and the kind of comments that people get, I feel like women are attacked. And I don't feel like they are. They are attacked for not looking a certain way. You see comments where someone's too thin but too fat at the same time. They're not wearing enough clothes or they're wearing too many. Let me know what you think though, because to me, that's what this screams is, well, we know this. People don't have the same expectation for men online as they do women. I think a really good example is actually when I spoke about having my filler and Botox done, I got so many nice comments, so many people were very interested about how I got it done. And when we look at other women online who have talked about their procedures as well, the comments are completely different. Calling them fake bitches, telling them to grow old gracefully, all this kind of stuff. And it's insane. And there's a part of me that feels bad doing these videos because I feel like the subjects are always women. And it's, again, because overall, they're the people that are kind of expected to do this, but then chastised at the same time. So, I don't know, it's tough. So the next brand is Fenty Skin, but it's not what you think. Let's have a look at this influencer here. Her name is Susan Matesi. I think I said that right. But she has actually been called out before for photoshopping herself into situations that don't exist. For example, this one of her standing next to a plane. Which I'm sorry, it's so obviously fake. As someone who studied digital retouching and manipulation, you can see this doesn't make sense. I mean, you can see the bag is a stock image. It doesn't make sense the direction it's looking. You see the cutout down her legs. But one thing that she did was this kind of like Fenty advert, which wasn't even a Fenty advert, where you can see the product isn't actually there, like at all. It's not there at all. That actually isn't even the size of the product that she's holding. And then you can see the products in the background on a rock. We don't even know she has these products. So the caption reads, "I want women to feel confident no matter what size they are, no matter what shape they are, no matter what their personality, race, religion. I want women to feel confident and sexy. That's who we are and we deserve to feel like." Exactly. So not a mention of the products. Great message, but no mention of the products that she's holding here. It's some kind of weird fake Fenty advertisement that she's put on herself to do, and I've had a good look through her profile and we don't ever see her holding them or using them in any way, and we know they aren't there because first of all, cutouts are terrible. That background isn't even real, but we can see that this picture is actually from an advert where she's holding a Fenty Beauty product. So kind of the same thing, again, not an advert, but you know, she's had to make the product that size to kind of cover up the product she's actually holding. I find this weird when influencers do this because, you know, really that's harmless because she's not saying it's an advert. She's not even saying anything about the product she's holding, but people who follow her are now going to be like, oh, she loves Fenty Skin. This is what Fenty Skin is about. Which Fenty in general has a great message about inclusivity and body positivity that is unlike any other brand I've ever seen. They do it so naturally. But try the products if you're going to pretend you've used them. Do you know what I mean? Like at least have tried the products. I mean, she's spreading a great positive message, but you've got nearly 1 million followers on Instagram. And they're going to look at you and think, oh, she loves Fenty because of their message. I'm going to buy it now. When she hasn't, she's not even holding it. It's so weird. I don't understand why people do it. It's like that time when people started doing fake adverts. When was it? Like maybe 3-4 years ago when people were pretending they were sponsored by particular brands. And these brands had to be like, we're not sponsored. We didn't sponsor anyone, you know? Very, very strange. So we have it for Instagram versus reality today. You can check out the whole playlist here and also some general light entertainment here, and I'll see you over there.